Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and today we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag 2019 edition. I co-created this tag back in, I think it was 2012 with Chami from Is That Chami? Which we still don't know the answer to. Is that Chami? Sorry, I've been waiting to make that joke for like a year. Okay. So yeah, basically it's just a bunch of questions about what you've been about what you've been reading so far this year. So there are 14 questions and we're just going to get into them because I tend to ramble when it comes to this tag every single year. So number 1 is best book you've read so far this year. And for a second I'd forgotten where I'd put it. So I have to go with The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. I have quite a few favourites so far this year, but this was the one that I was like, stands out as the top one. It's the book I've thought about the most this year. Ironically, it was also the first one I read in 2019. But yeah, it's just the one that I've thought about the most. Tried to get the most amount of people to read. I flew up to Sydney Writers Festival so that I could meet Rebecca Makkai. So yes, you could say that I have a bit of an obsession with this book, and I think it might even make top book of the year. There might be something else that knocks it out. We'll see. Next one is best sequel you've read so far this year. I haven't been the greatest at reading sequels this year. I'm never the greatest at reading sequels. But that being said, this one I think I would still pick so far, which is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. So I love this series. It's one of my all-time favourite series, even though there's only 2 books out. I love the first book, Nevermore, but I think I enjoyed this one slightly more. It's just so much fun and I highly recommend it. Question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. The problem with me making these piles is now there it is. I've turned them all around and now I'm like, wait, I can't see the spines, I don't know what's what. So I'm going with The Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. Yes, so I read The Poet X earlier this year, which is her first book, and I'm really interested to get into this one, and I'm hoping to start it in the next few days, even though I've just made that huge July TBR and all that stuff, but this is a reading copy for work and someone else is waiting for it, so I do really need to get to it so that that person can have the book. So yes. Question number 4 is most anticipated release of the second half of the year. It has to be The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. You'll know I love Margaret Atwood, and I mean obviously it's kind of like a sequel to Handmaid's Tale, and I love The Handmaid's Tale, so excited about this. Already pre-ordered at work. Thank you to my coworker who did that for me without even asking. I love you, you're the best. And yeah, super excited for that. I'm sure there are others that I'm also really excited for, but I just can't think any off the top of my head. Instantly I was like, oh, what's coming out in the second half of the year? The Testaments. So yeah, thank you, Atwood. Next one is biggest disappointment. I have 2 for this, neither of which I own because I unhauled them as soon as they disappointed me. So firstly I have The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi, and I also have Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I had really high hopes for both of these. The Gilded Wolves just because it sounded incredible, and Queenie because Jacqueline talked about it on her channel and it sounded amazing, and then I saw a bunch of other people talk about it and love it, and I didn't enjoy either of them. I got through both of them, I finished them, but I don't really know why I kept going, because I guess I really wanted to love them and I kept waiting for that, but it didn't happen. So I read the entire book and didn't enjoy either of them really. Next question, what are you doing? I have a cat here who's... Oh, what's wrong? Hey? Yeah, you come for cuddle. Okay. Let's do a nice turn. There we go. Okay. Next one is Biggest Surprise. And I'm going with The Strays by Emily Bitto. This won the Stella Prize in 2017. And I tried to read it that year. And I think... Oh, ow, I'm being stabbed. Stop it. Just sit down. We'll be back. No, we're good? Okay. Yeah, I tried to read it that year. And just couldn't really get into it. So I didn't DNF it, but I just sort of like returned it to the library and didn't even really think about it. But I gave it another go this year and I ended up really, really loving it. So I think it was just 2017. I was still pretty young. What was I, like second year of uni? It's not even that long ago, it's like 2 years ago, but I just like, in my reading taste, I still hadn't really started reading much adult or non-fiction or anything like that. I was still very much reading just YA, which is cool, but this is a adult fiction, Australian literary fiction novel. So just like at the time it wasn't my thing, and now I really loved it, so surprise, surprise. Question 7. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't even see my screen, like that's how bad my eyesight is. Which is favourite new author, which can either be a debut or new to you. Can anyone guess who I'm going to say? It starts with an R and ends with a Rebecca Mackay. So yeah, Rebecca Mackay. Only read one of her books this year. Hopefully I'm going to change that in July. But I just like, that's how much I loved Great Believers, is that I already consider her one of my favourite authors. That book just means a lot to me. So yeah. Number 8 is new fictional crush. Okay, when we made this question way back when, we used to talk about book boyfriends, and now it's more kind of like, just like, it doesn't even have to be a character. I don't know about y'all, but I get crushes on authors, like Rebecca Mackay and Margaret Atwood. They're like my literary crushes, you know, like Agatha Christie and the Brontes, and some of you will get what I mean. Anyway, that being said, if you do that question and you don't have a fictional crush on a character, you can just choose an author that you like have a writing crush on. You really like their writing, you really like their books. Yeah, whatever. I have picked that all being said, I've picked a character this year, and that is of course Captain Wentworth from Persuasion. I was already kind of in love with Wentworth because I've already seen adaptations of Persuasion before, but this is my first time actually like reading the book, and I just love him a lot. I know everyone always talks about Darcy, but my two favourite Austen heroes are Mr. Henry Tilney, of course, and Captain Wentworth. So I will defend those two until the day I die. They are the best, and I love them. Okay. Number 9 is new favourite character. I don't really know why I struggled with this one, because I love a lot of characters. I try not to double up on books, so I went with, for this year, Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. Technically I'd met them before in Solitaire, when that came out in 2014, 2013, one of those years, a year. It's been a while, but I feel like this is the first time that we really like meet them properly as characters, because they're just side characters in Solitaire. So in here we, learn more about their personalities and things like that. So I love them and I choose them. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. I am going to preface this by saying that I cry at pretty much everything. There are so many books that I could have picked for this one, but didn't because I wanted to use them in other questions, or it was too hard to explain why I cried without spoiling anything for you guys. So I decided to go with Shout by Laurie House Anderson. Cat's moving again. This is like a poetry memoir of Laurie House Anderson's experience with sexual assault, and also kind of what led her to write her books. Like Speak is the main one she talks about, but also Winter Girls. And I just have so much. I've talked about this whenever I read it. I did like a detailed rant about it in my wrap up and haul that month, but I just really like this, and I have a lot of respect for Laurie House Anderson. Next one is Book That Made You Happy. Where is it? Okay, this one ironically could have also been Book That Made Me Cry, but I went with Starfell, Willow Moss and the Lost Day by Dominique Valente. This is like a really fun book, but it also has like a really deep meaning to it towards the end. So that bit made me cry, but the rest of the book made me really happy. So that's why I chose it. It's got these like gorgeous illustrations. It's a children's book. It has like a cat in it that's, not really a cat. It's like a different like creature. But I just loved it. And it was just so many beautiful illustrations, and it made me so happy. So this one. Oh, we're getting a bit of a pile here, Percy. Number 12 is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year, or been given, sent, received, whatever. I have two. One from the very start of the year, and one that I just bought like a week ago. So I have The Binding by Bridget Collins, which is this gorgeous, like, and it's got deckled edges, which are very pretty, but it's difficult to read. So yes, this is just gorgeous, and I loved it. Brilliant book as well. And then also, I just really love the cover of this one. This is The Little Girl on the Ice Floe by Adelaide Bonn. It's just so pretty, and it's got like jellyfish on it and stuff. And it's, I just love like illustrated covers, and this one is just gorgeous. And it's just, it's one of those books that feels really nice. Like it's like kind of like matte-ish, but and it's like a little raised, and it's a nice book. Next one, second last question. Number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And every single year I say the same thing, which is literally everything I can possibly get my hands on and get through by the end of the year. And I've just picked out two random ones, because a lot of the other ones that I'm kind of like thinking about reading at the moment are ones on my July TBR, so I didn't want to like rehash all those. But I'm hoping by the end of the year that I can make it through these two. These ones are kind of big ones. So I've got The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, because it's huge, and also I keep seeing the movie trailer, like it keeps being an ad on YouTube for me, and it just looks incredible. So I really want to get to this one. Hello, are you awake again, are you? I really want to get to this one so that I can watch the movie. I don't even know when it comes out, or whether it'll even be released here, but Yes. And then the other one I have is Washington Black by Essie Ugan. I totally said that wrong. I bought this one in December last year. It's really beautiful and I just want to get to it soon. So yeah. Question 14. One of my favorites, of course, is a favorite book community member. So I picked a few people because I always struggle. Why? So of course I have my always and forever, my best friend Angel, who I love and adore. So naturally she has to make the list. Also my lovely friend Dina, who is just one of the most supportive and positive people that I have in my life. She is always here with a nice word for me and some support, and just like, she's like my own personal cheerleader. And she just really means a lot to me, and her support is so wonderful, and it has been for as long as I've known her, which I think is maybe 3 or 4 years now. It's been a while, but she's lovely as always. And who else have we got? We have Kat from Stars and Embers, who is also always lovely, and she makes like great videos. Her videos are some of my absolute favorites. She is so creative, and she deserves like hundreds and hundreds and thousands more subscribers than she gets. She puts so much work into her videos, so if you don't already, you should follow her because she's awesome. She likes tea, and even though she's from Adelaide, she lives in Melbourne now, so she's even cooler. And then I have 3 new people from, actually I think one of them was technically from last year, but we're going to count it. Of course, Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me. Again, her videos are incredible. She always is so eloquent and has so much insight into different books that I just don't even think about. So always recommend following her, but also on like Twitter and Instagram. Her Instagram stories are incredible, so just follow her everywhere. And then 2 people from Instagram as well. We have Rachel from She Reads, She Noms. Her Instagram, incredible. She's hilarious. Love her. And also Em from Em is Reading, who I met through the Stella Project book club that I run, and is a friend of Rachel and Jacqueline's. She's just one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. So I will link all of them below. I love all of them. They're great. You should go and follow them. Anyway, that was the mid-year book freakout tag for 2019. Thank you to everyone who's been doing this every single year. You guys are way more on top of this than like Chammy and I ever. So congratulations to everyone who is organized and already had them up. And can't wait to see who else can participate. Yes, thank you all for watching, joining in, and I will see you guys in a couple of days' time. I think I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up, so I'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. Bye.